Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto TA Charts live stream with me, No FOMO Charts. Today is May 22, 2022. It's about 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday here. I'm just waiting for the stream to stabilize, the connection to stabilize here. Looks like it was on and off. Just a quick announcement before we start. Please beware of fake accounts and scammers on all social media platforms. So if anybody's trying to direct message you or message you trying to sell fake or illegal services and are asking for crypto payments or just some kind of payment for a fake product or service, please report, block, ban, and ignore those fake accounts and users, as I have heard and I've seen that this is happening on many social media platforms, including TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, etc. So if any fake account or scammer is trying to message you, please report, ignore, and block those fake users. Thank you. All right, we're gonna try to move a little faster today. Let me set the timer here. So we're gonna go over stocks and crypto for about an hour. And this week, the big news is we're entering retail week number 2 for stock, earning seasons for stock, the stock market. So welcome to the stream. All right, here we go. First thing we need to look at is the Dow Jones for DIA. So the Dow Jones ETF. We're still in this daily downtrend here. The weekly as well has fallen out below, broken down below support on the weekly at least. Although what is interesting on this particular chart is that the RSI, if we're only doing RSI analysis, is that we're just starting to enter into that just barely above the oversold range for a weekly, on the weekly chart. However, on the daily chart, there is a little bit of bullish MACD momentum that's building. It has not upcrossed yet, although there is a hammer candle on this daily. What's going to affect the market this week are the big players reporting earnings for retail, because we just had a very volatile week last week for retail earnings, right? We're talking Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, some of the other stores, TJ Maxx, Ross, right? The big Walmart and Target moves, I mean, negative 20% in one afternoon, that is volatility, and that's going to move the market. So this week, who do we have lined up on the earnings? I'm looking at my list right now in my Discord. We have Best Buy, Nordstrom, NVDA, Dollar General Store, Dollar Tree Store, Macy's, Ulta Beauty, and etc. Ralph Lauren, Petco, Intuit, and then some Chinese stocks like XPEV, Alibaba, Baidu, and Pinduoduo. But it's mainly the US retail stores that's going to shake up the market this week. So although there is something interesting for me on the charts, the earnings is the unknown, right? The earnings is the unknown right now. Okay, so you just want to watch out for that. Now, looking at resistance, where's the resistance above? Resistance is 316, 320, 325, okay, on this DIA chart, resistance price. Support on the downside, we're right at support, 312.57, 309, 304, and 302. So, you know, I can form a bias and opinion. It is more on the oversold side here, that if earnings are good, we could bounce up anywhere 2 to 3% to the upside. However, if earnings are bad for the first couple days, it could easily, so I'm saying the bullish case could bounce up. We could easily reject down as well, because what people sometimes overlook is on the price. We turn all the indicators off. This will probably apply to all the indexes, is that you have this resistance trend line on the top side. So until we break above that, we're still in the downtrend, and the EMAs are confirming that, right? We might get this pop up, but right into the resistance zone. So we see that every time we come into the resistance zone trend line, we're going to reject down unless there's a real trend change. So watch out for that this week. Okay, moving on. SPY, S&P 500. S&P 500 has a similar chart, the SPY chart. Now we fell down below outside of the descending triangle. It's the descending wedge. Actually, it's not a descending triangle, descending wedge. But again, that weekly just barely tapping above the oversold RSI with double MACD on the bottom. If we're on this daily chart, it'll be interesting to see if the upside down head and shoulders forms on the RSI. That's going to give us our bullish momentum to the upside. And again, there is a little bit of a bullish momentum on the MACD. However, it has not upcrossed yet, right? So it's really dependent on earnings. It's poised to bounce if earnings are good. So where are the targets? Where are the targets? Our resistance is 398. I'm rounding. 400, whole number, 408, 412 to the upside. Downside support is 387, 385, 382, and then this Fibonacci 378 down here. So that's just something we want to watch out for on the S&P 500. Yes, there's a little bit of a doji candle slash hammer candle. But again, if you look at the trend line that I was looking at on Thursday and Friday, it's almost the same as Dow Jones. You can have these bounces up, but remember, in the long term, we are in a bear market downtrend right now. On the weekly, what is the weekly chart trying to do? We're scouting out, this blue line is, we're scouting out the lower low of the price, low, high, low. So wherever that's going to be, it's going to bounce eventually, and then we're going to get a lower high if it's going to be textbook downtrend, right? So I'm looking for this, which would be sparked by the earnings this week to the upside. If not, we could get a quick bounce, and then if the market continues to sell off for the big hedge funds and big money sells off, if there's still fear in the market, it's going to go down eventually, right? This death cross is real. All right, QQQ, next one, NASDAQ is similar, but we need to look at it. It's not exactly the same. Similar, but it's not exactly the same. So the NASDAQ chart, again, remember, we had this head and shoulders here on the weekly. That was a little bit dirty, but it's there. And then the measured move was about 15% to downside. We hit that target. So that's why it's kind of in that first target zone. If it's going to be really bad, at 30% would be 244 down here. But we haven't had that yet. It's at the 50% retrace right off the 200 EMA on the weekly. Go back to the daily. It's still here on this 50% retrace, right? From pandemic low to pandemic high. So that's why it's in an interesting spot right now. If the earnings are good, but it's retail-based earnings, so it's probably going to affect the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and the Russell 2000 more so than QQQ. But QQQ might follow along the NASDAQ. So again, the oscillators are looking very similar. We actually hit the oversold 28 range just on that left side, above the 50% Fibonacci retrace, and the oversold conditions. It's not quite super oversold on daily, but on a 4-hour, maybe on a 1-hour, let's check those. It is there. So, close enough. The 4-hour, not really, but there's a little bit of bullish momentum, and we're holding support here 3 times. So that's why I'm getting kind of suspicious of this support zone right here. So will this turn into a W double bottom? Will be interesting to see if that happens. If that's going to be the measured move, the target is 6% to the upside. And if it's 6% more, because, sometimes the market likes to go past the targets. Those are the 2 targets to the upside with some interesting risk here. So this example, reward to risk, 2-to-1 trade on QQQ. But again, it's so dependent on earnings that, it's going to be hard. At this point, it is kind of, slightly favoring a bounce. But if we could get the bounce, but if earnings are bad, right, we could fall back down. Or if we have best case scenario, it just bounces up off of the 50% retrace. So those are the kind of levels I'm watching out for right now on the indexes. So again, I'm moving much faster this time, so I don't have to do a 2-hour live stream. Most people don't want to watch that. So let's keep going faster here. Take a quick look at IWM, because I haven't talked about that for a long time. So IWM, quite significantly, I might have to rechart this for fresh eyes. We fell below the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. Let's get the Fibonacci up. Fibonacci here to here. All right, so just tap that 50%. It already bounced on the daily as well. So we did get a little bit of this MACD up cross on the green here, and It's going to be interesting to see. Are we forming a higher low right here? Because if this is a higher low on that price, that would be good for growth stocks, the smaller company stocks. Try to get an uptrend going on for the short term, because in the long term, it's still downtrending. But are we going to bounce? That's the big question. Is it going right here? Is it going to 185 this week? That'll be good, because that risk to reward is pretty good. It's still 2-to-1, just like QQQ. If it's going to happen, the 6% to the upside target with the 3% stop loss on the bottom, just in case it folds down, right? So watch out for that. The resistances on above Russell 2000, we got 183, we got 189, 195 as well. The support to the downside, 175, 170, and the 50% retrace again itself. So watch out for that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to some of the earnings that's coming out this week. So probably what I'm looking at Best Buy, right? Big electronics retail store here in the USA, America, and online. So Best Buy has hit the oversold range even before earnings. So I'm not going to give any opinion on the company itself. I'm just talking about the technicals. Okay, so if you're looking for news, TradingView has fantastic news here on the right side. Okay, you just click the third button down right here for the news, right? You can see it. So and also on the main hub, I'm going to call it here in the main section here. If you scroll down, you can see, at least on my premium paid account, you could see some more information about the stats, the volume, the earnings, and the more financials right here, right? So TradingView has pretty much all the data and information that you need to make an informed decision and opinion about a company financially, fundamentally, and also on the charts as well. So I'm only talking about charts right now. I'm not talking about the earnings report. Okay, so what's going on with Best Buy? Well, it's been in a downtrend for 6 months, basically. And it looks like, let's get our Fibonacci's up and see what's going on here, because Best Buy, it's interesting. They are electronics retailer, and they sell a lot of different products. So they sell like phones, video games, appliances, electronics like camera equipment, computers, laptops, accessories. It's interesting if you ever walk through a Best Buy, right? So the problem is we've been downtrending, right? We lost the 618. That's not good. We try to hold above the 50%. We lost the 618. That's not good. So where would the obvious targets be? This thing is downtrending so hard. Okay, well, if they have some supply chain inflation problem, well, I'm looking at downside target of 67, 58. Looking left, is there an additional price cluster? Somewhere right here, like 52, and then 50. That would be a full retracement back down to its original pandemic low, though. That'd be pretty bad for Best Buy. But again, if we look at Target, what happened to Target? And what happened to Walmart? -10 to -20% bad earnings. Okay, so -10% would be what? 64. -20% would be 58, basically close enough to the two targets, right? But on the other hand, that's the bearish scenario. On the other hand, if it's good earnings, if they have blowout positive earnings on EPS revenue and some additional metrics, okay, the target's right here, the gap fill, $80. 87, 8 or 88, and then 100 if things go really, really, really well. So there's a hammer candle right here, but again, the earnings is going to dictate which move we have. But again, it's already at the oversold range. But let's not be fooled. If we look here as an example, watch out for this, is even though we're on December, we're on the low, it could still go lower. So RSI is not the god of, price moves, right? RSI is just an indicator. It's just a tool. So watch out for that. And again, if somebody's trying to play earnings, all I recommend is try to wait a day or two. Let the big money players make their move first. They'll make it very clear which way are we going in the market for that stock. Okay, next. Let's do Nordstrom's, because that's like more of a brand name that people might be familiar with. Nordstrom, they sell like higher end design, not like super designer, but they sell like name brand. And some designer products, retail clothing. So let's just see here. Let's get our Fibonacci's going up. Just get support and resistance, so it's not just floating in the middle of nowhere in space. So it has been downtrending, but we did have this right? Off the good earnings. Let me just see these two numbers. Okay, it was good. That's why we rallied up, but we had the pullback down. Now, interesting to see on this weekly is, okay, you can see the weekly downtrend, but if earnings are good, it would make a higher low here, and then we could have a potential trend change on Nordstrom's. But if it's not, the downtrend is going to continue, and you can see the downside support zone here. So let's call it out. You have support at 21, 20, 19. I'll just call those out. The resistance above is 22, 24, and 25. Okay, so again, if you look at the EMAs, still downtrending, right? So the problem is with TA is everyone's trying to buy the quote unquote bottom of the market or buy the dips in the market, but at the same time is which dip, I'm going to circle it, which dip is the bottom of the market. Nobody knows for sure until we have more information on the chart. Right now, we're still in a 100% downtrend, basically on the weekly in the market, right? So anybody trying to call the bottom is, there's two scenarios, okay? This is a quick side note. Let me go back to SPY. This has to deal with crypto as well, because if we this is why it's important to know the price history, right, of recessions and crashes. So I'm on a log chart right here. Let's go back in time and just look at some of the crashes. Let's look at the pandemic crash. How long did that take? This one was very short because it was government saved us, so it took like 2 months to crash. Okay, what about 2008 and 2009, the actual real big Great Recession in the world, right? 07 to 09. How long did that take? 530 days to bottom out. That's a real recession. 530 days. Okay, basically 1.5 years to 2 years, 1 to 2 years of downtrend in the stock market, right? So we have to think, if it's downtrending, nobody knows where the bottom dip is. You know what I'm saying? So dip buying on a downtrend is very dangerous, because somebody could be losing money for 2 years straight. That's why. That's not one of my strategies, right? We look at the big 2000 to 2003 NASDAQ bubble crash. How long did that take? 1,000 days to hit the bottom. 1,000 days, right? Basically 3 years to hit the bottom, okay? So in a real recession, the market should go down for 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 years, right? Because the pandemic recession, this was our government, at least the USA government, Federal Reserve, and the politicians, they've lived through that, so they know. We have experience. Anyone been in the market older than me who's been in the market for 20, 40, 60 years, is they know, right? They need to save the market so the recession doesn't last 3 years. That's why we had fiscal stimulus policy saving us in March 2020, right? Because that pullback only lasted 34 days, not 3 years, not 900 days or not 700 days. It was 34 days, right? So this time it's a little bit different, right? If this is our potential top of January 2022, it's been 141 days in this downtrend, right? 141 days. Okay. If it's a real recession, some people are thinking we're only halfway, right? Because even the percentage move down is only 18%, right? In the pandemic, how much did we crash? If we just compare the initial fear right here, it went down negative 33%. So we're only about maybe halfway if it's a real recession, right? But on the way down, we might downtrend, downstairs pattern down. So if I'm a long, which I'm both a bull and a bear, I have been playing, I'm not going to get too specific about stocks and cryptos, but I have been playing, downtrend. I have been playing uptrend. I've been playing downtrend. I've been doing that, right? But that's very advanced method for trading, swing trading, okay? So that's just something to think about, the perspective of, well, how long do general recessions last and pullbacks and crashes, right? Because I've experienced that in the crypto market and in stocks as well, both sides, both directions. So just something to think about. All right, let's keep going here. Do a couple more. I'll do NVIDIA because it's a big tech stock. Let's do NVIDIA. Get the timer going. NVDA. All right, so NVIDIA, the problem is if I turn the log chart off, we did have a big parabolic move on NVIDIA, and then we broke down below that. That's why we tested this. This is one, I might have published this, I might have not, but I published the AMD one. This NVIDIA one is very similar. But, you know, negative 50% basically down from its low, from its pandemic high. We're at the 50% retrace. That's why it's very interesting right now. So NVIDIA, I mean, with the supply chain, with things going on in China right now and Taiwan, and where these things are, the video cards are manufactured, the supply and demand, it would be interesting to see a repeat of AMD, right? Because AMD announced new products, 3 new video cards, and was it 2 new video cards? But there was the 6950 XT. And so the NVIDIA corporation, if they announce their 4000 series video cards, that would be good, right? That would be kind of like excited hype news. So that would be something to watch out for in the news feed coming up in NVIDIA this week. They're reporting on May 25th, which is 3 days from now, right? But if you look at this chart, it's in the downtrend, right? It's in the downtrend right here on this lower low. So if we could hold the support level right here above 160, that would be good. So now the line in the sand for NVIDIA bulls is 160. Right there, 160. So where's the resistance? We did death cross on beginning of May. Resistance above 183, 200, 194. I'm looking left as well to get those targets. Support to the downside at 162, 155, 146, right? So if the short version is if NVIDIA has really good earnings, blowout positive earnings, this is probably going to go up to 187, maybe even 200. Little Wall Street bets trading and options people might want to push that up to the upside, right? Watch out for that. If the earnings are good, if the earnings are bad, it could totally bring us down to like this lower 140 range. Remember, the 618 is all the way down here 125. It's not impossible for us to get there 3-6 months from now. But again, we've been in the downtrend for how long? 180 days. A confirmed downtrend for like 60 days or 90 days. Right, so just keep that in mind. It's sometimes if it's a real recession and it's going to affect the entire USA economy or entire global economy of your country, a real recession could take a long time to bottom out. What I'm going to call a government, or basically just if the government's going to save us this time, which the government is, the fiscal stimulus program is not happening right now. Right, this is why the market's crashing as well. The tapering program was started in November. That's why. Over here. So just watch out for that on NVIDIA. Let me do a couple more here. Am I on time? Okay, let's do a couple more and then we'll just move on to some crypto. Let me do some of the majors. Let's look at like a Tesla. Right, I know people trade Tesla. I have a lot of lines here, but let's just erase that. So Tesla still in the daily downtrend. Weekly downtrend as well, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Where's it going to be? That's the question mark. But we're having levels of support on our left side. So on a daily, at least, it's right at the support: 665, 640, 606, 566. Those are 4 targets to the downside. On support levels, resistance targets to the upside is 700 psychological. 725, 764, and then probably 800 as well. But again, this thing probably is not going to go down forever, right? Because even in this crash, there were turnaround spots, V-shaped recovery or like a support level established. So that's probably the 2 things that are going to happen. If the market goes bull this week, we might get the V-shaped recovery on Tesla, or it might bounce up and then try to establish a level of support somewhere down here. That's what I'm visually looking for because it happens a lot. We had the V-shape here, but we had the support level established here, V-shape here, support level established, and then went up. So if somebody's a bull, that's what I'm looking for on Tesla. There are clues. 4 hour. It is in that oversold range. Right? It is in that oversold range. 1 hour, just hit the oversold. Let's look at what's going to happen day trading tomorrow. We already bounced up on the 15-minute, the post-market, 5 minutes up. So So day trading, let's just say, for example, tomorrow there might be a likely scenario where Tesla might pull back in the morning because I know futures is up right now overnight. So it might pull back a little bit in the morning. In the midterm to swing trading time frames, we might get a bounce longer term because of what's happening, right? But again, if retail week 2 earnings are really, really bad, I'm expecting a little bit more downside because bears are hungry. They want to crush the market. Bulls are just patient right now. This is where that Wall Street saying is you don't really want to catch a falling knife. When it's just pure red, how do you know? How does somebody know where the bottom is? There are techniques, but in general, like I'm just saying for most people, is try not to catch a falling knife. Just lose money, right? So just watch out for that. Let's keep going here. What's another one on the list that might be interesting? Let's do like one of these dollar stores because it's related to Walmart and Target from last week, right? We're looking at some of these like expensive quote unquote companies. Let's look at like a Dollar General. You know, your $1 retail stores or a Dollar Tree. They're very similar on the chart. So I'm gonna do Dollar General because it's more red. All right, so Dollar General store in the US, these are like a around $1 cost stores. It's like a 99-cent store type of thing. So, if their supply chain hit and inflation, who knows? Maybe people flock to these stores, or who knows? Maybe their sales have been hurt bad. But there was a head and shoulders here as well. What's the target here? 40% to downside. We hit that target. Double that target would be 28%, which take us to 163. Just leave that target down there for future reference. Down there. It's approaching the 618. Interesting. Right here at $180. $180. Right? Then a gap down. So this must have been US specific. This is not normal. Okay, they got a downgrade. Okay, so that's an example right here of analyst downgrade, analyst upgrade can really make things go up or down because big investment hedge funds and institutions, they trust each other on Wall Street in terms of the analyst downgrades, right? Like if I just come out with some kind of downgrade or upgrade like a retail trader, nobody really looks at that, right? But if these billion-dollar companies do that, then investors pay attention to that, right? So you had to downgrade on that. AMD was different. You had to upgrade on it. That's why it went up. AMD stock, right? That's part of it, and their announcement. So I caught that. But Dollar Tree, okay, downgrade right into earnings. Ooh, this could be bad. So if it's bad earnings, where are we going on this thing? Okay. The 618, 180, 176, 170. If we take the Walmart play into consideration, it's already oversold, but it hasn't bottomed yet. Negative 10, 168 to negative 20%, 150. Wow. So these could be our two targets here on our levels. Our resistances to the top side is obviously the 200 psychological up here, our 50% retrace, 196 and 182. Right. So it's basically plus or minus 10% at least volatility on this company. 208 as well. Let's put these targets up here, the 50% and this 382. So watch out for that. But Dollar General store, already has some negative catalyst, technical and analyst downgrade on it. So I'll watch out for that. I'm not going to get too hyped up on that. But again, my opinion on the financials doesn't really matter because only the company knows. So we're talking about the technicals right now. Okay. Let's do just a couple more, maybe one or two more. I'll do the big ones. Let's do Apple, because Apple is basically the biggest USA stock by market capitalization size. So when Apple moves, the market moves as well. So the weekly, we do have this lower low. Like I'm saying, this pattern is everywhere in the stock market, low, high, lower, low. Now the question is, can this 100 EMA weekly at 134 hold? Let me erase some of this other stuff from last stream. All right, so this still makes sense. Can this level hold right here on the yellow box? Right there at 136. Our daily just like QQQ. It's not quite super oversold, but our 4 hour, 1 hour, oh, it is oversold on our 4 hours, right? Because I was looking at the daily, it's like it doesn't really go down that much, right? So that means our intraday day traders are holding up this stock, our bull dip buyers. So Apple could rally if earnings are good, if the market conditions this week are good. Please keep in mind as well, it's not just earnings. If you're in my Discord, I always say the economic data that's coming out this week. We have another announcement speech from Chair Powell of the FOMC. We get the meeting minutes from the last meeting, right? And we get preliminary GDP and core PCE, the price index for the producer side, right, of companies. So that's going to move the market. The FOMC announcement is really going to move the market, and people are going to watch that to see if there's any changes. Now, 3 to 6%, like QQQ, this still exists. The resistance on Apple, 145, 150, 152. And 141 right above. The support to the downside on the left, I have to go on the daily to see it. Here we go. 134, 136, 132, etc. Right? And again, I'm not just calling out random numbers. These are what real technical analysts and real traders, they're hitting these zones, right? So they know, okay, if there's a bot or algorithm, they know. If there's a swing trading algorithm, they know the target to sell is somewhere up here, right? So and traders like myself, we're already making the setup and the plan right now of the play, the reward to risk, right? So it's not about random reactions to the watch list every morning with my eyes. It's already know the levels of going into this week, right? So it's just a matter of, okay, let me see what the actual data is, and then want to see the market reaction to it and make my moves accordingly. So again, if it's bull move, we get a bounce. Great. If it's bear move, probably a little bit more continuation to the downside, right? The big targets, according to Fibonacci, a pandemic low to high is 150 and then 125. That's the range we're playing in between right now. All right. I actually like moving faster, so let's move on to crypto. Okay, so we just finished up stocks, earnings, and indexes. As a segue into crypto, we might actually have to look at USO and UNG just for visual reference. I might not do the full TA for these, but you can see my ideas because these are commodities as well. There's some relationships. So US oil still in the uptrend. Right, but it is getting into this weird pattern of equilibrium up here. This is kind of not normal, right? Because if it was going to uptrend, this thing should have blasted higher. If it's going to downtrend, it should have crashed. But it's just consolidating in a rising wedge, which could be bad, right? Because the initial play from last year of, okay, the energy crisis and then Russia-Ukraine war, that really changed the supply-demand requirements and the price. But now that a lot of that information is factored into the market is, well, how high can we go, right? Because on a weekly, it's kind of consolidating up here. Because if there's going to be a crash, it would be a significant crash back down to $70 on US oil. That's significant, right? So I'm watching out for that. That's what I'm saying. Once we lose the levels of support on the way down, US oil is in big trouble, but it might not happen for a while. UNG, natural gas, okay. It was in this kind of ugly uptrend. This was ugly back here in December and early January, because is it going to be a lower high on the weekly and crash? No, it stayed held above the support. That's the difference. It didn't go below $15 anymore or $14. That's the big key difference on this chart, right? But do we have a sideways ugly head and shoulders? Maybe. Or at least a double top or something's happening here, right? If it's going to be really bad, negative 23% to downside. It's almost like crypto. It's kind of strange that energy stocks, commodities kind of became the crypto of this year in terms of people, everyone jumping on that. But if it crashes, negative 23% to the downside would take us right below the 618, right to the EMA of 1839, so $18. But we have all this support on the way down, 2350 and 27 as well, these levels. So just watch out for that. Again, on the weekly, it's still uptrending, but it looks like it's just losing a little bit of momentum, right? It's here. This is the setup for a pullback. It's here. It just might take a couple months, but it's here. So watch out for that. Definitely US oil and UNG. Again, losing momentum on the weekly here. Just watch out. I mean, if it's going to crash, the recipe is there. It's just a matter of the global fundamentals. Once that triggers, then it's going to crash and fear selling. Okay, let's do gold and silver, and then we'll just move on. You can make sure we capture our commodities before we full transition to cryptocurrencies. Okay, this is gold spot on a Oanda chart on a daily, and gold also crashed in tandem with the stock market. So sometimes there are correlations, like right here, if you just in this blue box, if you look at April to May, gold and cryptocurrencies all fell down, all crashed down in tandem with the market. So that's real fear selling in the market and algorithm shorts as well. But we've hit this 236 support level, which I marked last time on this blue. Okay, and the 1813, it hit that, the bottom of our triangle. So I called that support level, and we played the bounce on gold, right? It's a small amount, but if someone's leveraging or using a triple ETF or something like that, it's decent gains. It's good gains still, right? Because with volatility, that's where the trading is, right? Because you have to think about it, or I have to think about it too, is if there's no volatility, there's no liquidity, you know, it's opportunity cost. I remember one of my mentors taught me, is like, well, you know, if I'm trying to target how much percent, what is it? I have to do the math, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5, 6%. But then what if, is there a different investment that's safer, that's going to give me that same, you know, positive gain, or the alpha, right? So, you know, without volatility is just, where's a better place to put my money right now? Risk on or risk off? Should I save it? Should I put into like a, you know, XYZ investment, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, cash, right? That's the decisions I have to make as an investor, right? Up front, not in front of a chart. That's a decision I make off the computer, right? So just a quick example there. For trading, it's different. If I'm playing the technicals, okay, I just want to play the bounce right here with a hammer candle. Great. Piercing, the bullish candle. Okay, right off this 236. Great. Bounce up to here. Okay, that's fine. But what needs to happen is we need to not go below 1800 again. To get a trend change, uptrend in gold, it needs to do that. So watch out for that. I want to see the trend change on gold, and then there might be some, you know, additional 2 to 4% gain on here, but it might take a month or two. Gold takes a while. Like this rally took 1 month. This crash took 1 month. Okay, so if it's going to rally again, probably for a month. So the resistance is up here, 1853, 1876, 1900. The big one up here, 2000, if it ever gets up there. The support where we need to not go below 1813, 1800, 1786. Okay. All right, let's go to silver. Silver, it's a slightly different chart on the daily, right? You could just go back and forth, the death cross on silver, but on gold, there is no death cross. So silver is different. This is different. We hit this support level of the 50% retrace, which I marked on last time's stream. Just touched it exactly on the dot. This is how technical analysis works. It's a tool that helps. We hit this lower high. It's straight to the lower low, right to here what I marked. If it was going to be real bad, if we have really bad bearish continuation, it's going down to 1850, all the way down here. The support level is 20 as well, right? So higher low. If it's going to reverse, I'm looking for that in the market on silver. Higher low right here. Low, high, low. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? That's it. That's that trend. So we resistances up here at 382, 2237, 23. Downside 2155, 2122 as well. It needs to just not go below 2050. On the weekly, it's still downtrending, right? I've been talking about this on every single time I talk about silver. It's still downtrending on the weekly. It's still in an up cross, but the price has been basically downtrending, right? Low, high, lower, low, right into here. So interesting. Okay, let's move on to crypto now for the last like 25 minutes of the stream. And we're on the total market cap right now, crypto total market cap. Okay, I know it's a lot of messiness on the chart, but it was definitely helpful, okay? Because we had the break of this potential head and shoulders bearish pattern right here, and the market crashed up to date, negative 25% from this April 27 break. The issue now is, though, we are in kind of some kind of consolidation phase where it's turning into a little bit of this interesting little flag down here. It's not a pennant, it's just a flag, right? Little bear flag down there. But the momentum is building on crypto. It's not super oversold on weekly, okay, but still the momentum on this daily, it's building, right? We got a little bit of green here, a little bit of buying on this. The market hasn't crashed, and it's still in here consolidating. Now on a 4-hour though, if I want to get really specific, this is why it's sometimes good to investigate. There's a symmetrical triangle on the 4-hour. So that's slightly different interpretation, right? Depending on how I look at it. So it could go, the whole market can bounce up 5 to 10% in either direction, bounce up or down, but it's already here on this top side. So just watch out for that, plus or minus 5%. So 1.3 trillion upside target, downside target, right to 618 again, 1.18, where I drew this little line last time. The good thing is on that daily is building, but is it super low right now on the RSI for bulls? No, that's why it's in neutral to slightly bearish side for the intraday, and it's the Asia session right now in Monday. So just watch out for that. It's at a resistance right now at the time of this video. So it would be better if it's at these support levels down here. Those are the bull spots to buy. But in terms of up here, it's like, well, it can crash back down to 1.2 and then go up again. So that's why sometimes the market likes to fool people, traders. So you have this double top here. So unless it breaks above 1.28, I'm not getting excited about anything yet. I need to see this go up here. If it's going to crash down, fine. Let it crash down. Hopefully it doesn't go too much down for crypto bulls. But I need to see the support level being established or the trend change as well. This is not, this is a resistance zone. It's too high right now. So on the intraday, I want crypto to cool down off a little bit, right? The scalpers are trying to play their bounce right now, but the swing traders, it's kind of in this middle zone where it's okay. The swing traders needed to buy back here the past like 2 weeks on these lows, right? So watch out for that break. Okay, let's go to crypto. Let's go to Bitcoin. I'm gonna look at Bitcoin futures because that's CME. This is what I'm talking about. Is you have this level for now established in the 28, 29,000 range. On a Fibonacci, what is this? Fibonacci is 618. Okay, that's what I'm saying. 618. Don't underestimate that, right? As a trader, 618 in crypto is very useful. So it doesn't always work, but it's there as a support level. So on our weekly, Bitcoin it didn't hit super oversold levels like back in 2019, but the daily oversold is there. It's that first time. So what I'm saying is watch out for, just like that Dogecoin crash, is even though it hits this RSI level, like right here on May 17th on this vertical pink, okay, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're gonna hodl and moon to 70,000 starting from today. It doesn't work like that, because it's just an indicator, right? It's just a tool. So is this the bottom? For a day trader, it might be. For a swing trader, it's maybe. For an investor, no, right? Because it depends on the time horizon. Because we need to see, for a longer term investor, I need to see a serious level of support being established. Like, this needs to prove we're not going to go lower. It needs to prove it to me before I put more capital back into the market right here at 30,000 Bitcoin. But if you're a day trader or like a swing trader, it's like, well, you need some less information to say, oh, we're just going to get this bounce going on, like right here in this particular circle, right? And it is holding here above 28,375, so that's good. That's good. You still get this kind of triangle formation, right? But as a day trader, you're just playing bounces, right? You're just playing from here to here, and then you're out. Here, here, buy here, sell here, done on that trade, right? So it depends on what time horizon and type of investor or trader you are. But the fact that we hit this, we went below here to 27.28 and recovered a little bit. Okay, great. I would like to see this lower high go back up to 35, 36,000 for crypto bulls. But if not, you know, the supply and demand, if there's no demand, the price has to go down. Or usually goes down. So just watch out for that. Alrighty, I'm going to draw a trend line above here. Again, for me, I am not interested until this big trend changes for real. Because right now, the way it is it's still in consolidation zone. Right? This is not really a good, I might have to pierce it down like that or do something like this. Right? This is kind of a strange formation. It's a little abnormal, if I'm honest. Right? That's not pretty looking. Okay. So it's just kind of angling down. There's also this one here, right, for the more recent price action. So again, it pierced that. That's why we're holding right now, because people are just playing this most recent price action on Bitcoin like this. They're not really looking at this left side. The immediate swing traders are looking right here. They're playing this bounce, this trend line, and the 618 support bounce right there. So if we do happen to bounce, okay, because the conditions are there, but keep in mind we're in the environment of stock earnings and, you know, all these news releases, global issues. 32K, 34, 36, just put in $2,000 increments, okay? But what's the risk to reward? It's actually pretty decent. It's a big range, but it's there if somebody wants to do it, but just be careful not to get stopped out, right? Because you saw this candle. This is the market maker hedge fund play that happens all the time. They know people have their buy orders in 618 and they will crush it down to stop everybody out and then bounce, right? So watch out for that. But if it holds above here for a significant amount of time and never goes down, then there's actually decent risk to reward of the 12% gap fill up here to 6% downside on a small amount of capital for Bitcoin. So those are the bullish targets. And then the bearish targets here, there's a gap fill down here at 25. That's why watch out for this $25,000 gap fill on the downside if everything fails. Alrighty, let's go to Ethereum. How much time do I have? Maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, Ethereum. All right, so Ethereum on the weekly. Okay, we had the head and shoulders. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Yes, there are some dip buyers here. Let me restart this this Fibonacci. Let's get a good one. Let's get a pandemic low to pandemic high. Which is what I like to do right now. Watch out for this 618 bounce again. It's very similar to Bitcoin, but again, the 618 bounce, I wonder if it's going to turn into Dogecoin chart part 2. I'm talking about the Dogecoin crash right here in May 2021 and the China ban here, and then the El Salvador crypto news, right? So it's going to take the fundamentals actually to change up the crypto a little bit, unless there's going to be a regular trend change. On the weekly side, again, the worst case scenario for Ethereum would be massive head and shoulders here. The kind of sideways dirty neckline, but the measure move will be pretty terrible. It will be negative 80% crash. So if that happens, the worst case scenario of Ethereum in the short term going down to $500, which I would love as a bull, right? It's the same product, it's cheaper, right? But for our swing traders and our day traders, they are trying to hold this level right here above the 618. It's tested it 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times. So again, the risk reward here it's not that great, because the risk reward, again, if somebody bought it on this right here on this one day of the crash, May 11th, the risk reward there is much, much better. The fact that we're here, again, the triangle, attempting the breakout, there's a lot more downside, this black space right here. So that's why it's not the greatest bull trade, but if someone's more on the longer time horizon, okay, well, 3-6 months from now, if it's going to go back to 2,500, that's actually a decent risk to reward, right? 20%, I mean, that's investment level now. If it's 10, I'm talking long term. If it's 10% downside, 20% upside, I mean, that's an investment, basically. So the levels to the upside, 2167, 21302, 2500, that 50% retrace is probably the bull target if we happen to bounce this month or next month. Pulling back down, you can see we could also double bottom here at the lower end. So 1900 or 1700 or stuff like that, or like 1800 down here. Okay, but this is significant. This is kind of abnormal crash, right? But if we compare apples to apples, okay, when we went from November 10 down to here, it was negative 50% in about 2-3 months. And it's right at the 50 days. So I'm curious what's going to happen in the next 3 weeks. Right? If we're going to get a repeat here, just a little baby bounce and a crash, that definitely looks like it could happen on the charts. A little baby bounce and a crash one more time. And then that's the bottom. One more retest would be nice. Or it rallies up. If this happens to be the bottom, it'll rally up and then pull back down, but we won't go lower and we'll establish a higher low trend change, at least for that, right? That could happen on Ethereum. So timing it perfectly is always the challenge for crypto. So, sometimes just gotta believe, right? Or put a small amount of capital and just see what happens, right? Or just paper trade, right? And again, this is not financial advice, just educational. So if somebody's new to this and you don't want to risk real money, TradingView is your place to go. You know what I'm saying? You get paper trading right here. You just turn it on, connect it, it's free. And you could trade all the US cryptos, USD cryptos and stocks as much as you want. Practice, learn, right? There's no reason to lose lots of money just to learn a lesson that I could have learned for free, or you could have learned for free as a trader, right? Paper trade. If you don't even want to use the paper trade, like literal physical paper trade, sometimes I write it down on a piece of paper, right? And still learn that way, old school style. All right, Ethereum. That's the targets. BNB, Binance Coin. Binance Coin, okay. That's from a different lesson. That trade still work though. The weekly, here we go. Binance Coin. It's interesting to look at the life of Binance. Binance Coin only existed since, on this chart, since 2018. It's pretty high, right? We had the double top. If I do it from the 2020 low, that's where we're at from this low right here. Why am I saying it's high? Because Binance Coin used to be $10, and now we hit this double top up here on the $676 range, and it's been going in its downtrend pattern. This ascending triangle failed up here. Okay, the flag. It used to be a flag, but turned into ascending triangle, failed. So now it hit that we actually back tested the resistance, and now it's down on the weekly. So watch out for that. Our daily, it's still bouncing. It's very, very correlated with crypto. This looks exactly like the crypto chart, the double top, and then this right here. So the lower support trend line. Now the question is, are we going to bounce? BNB already had its little bounce. So BNB is kind of our lead crypto altcoin of the majors. We already had, Ethereum didn't bounce up as much as BNB did. So, very nice trade, 45% in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. That's crypto. That's what people are looking for. Volatility, right? But the fact is, the bounce already happened. We're looking at it in the past right now. So I'm not excited about this yet, because this could very well just reject down and go back down to 239. Okay, I get more excited when the price is already down here. If this candle was still red, now I would probably buy that, right? But it already bounced up in the intraday. So in terms of this setup, it's already relatively kind of high price on the swing trading. This is not a low price bounce asset. It was low price over here, not anymore. So that's the interpretation that TA helps us with, is using these oscillators and the price and all this information. Is it low or is it high? Relatively, it's kind of high. in the medium term. In the long term, it's still kind of high price. In the short term, if you're staring at it in 5 minutes, like, well, you just play any bounce. Try to play any bounce, right? For this 1% or for 2% scalp, and then you're out of the trade. So the resistance is above. It's still going right now. It's probably going to bounce all the way up to probably like like a 320 or something like that. So 321, 320 is our resistance on the top side. It's still riding this EMA on the hourly. So we did have this hourly up cross. That's where we're getting continuation on this. But as well, watch out for the, it might top out overnight and then pull back. So we're going to watch out for that. Just touching this 100 EMA on the 4 hour. That's why it's a resistance zone. Anybody bought down here is taking the profit now, probably on this day trade. So again, this is not low price asset on every single time frame. The best thing I can hope for on the daily is the legitimate trend change, if it's going to happen, or at least something like this where you get a bounce and then it's clear that we're going to come down and then let go of that trade, sell it, and then come back down to support level. The support is 250. So I'll be watching for, is this going to repeat of here, double top, and then come down, and then I might want to buy it down here. That's why I'm pre-planning. That's how you get ahead of the market. You get ahead of everybody by doing this, saying if it comes down, I'm probably going to buy here unless it keeps crashing, or in this general zone for the retest of the double bottom W. That'd be nice. But if it continues to uptrend, then, you know, somebody still has to try to fire, but then the risk is much greater up here. So it depends on somebody's style and risk tolerance. Let's move on. Solana, I'm not going to do all of these, but Solana is slightly different. I wonder if we're going to get this upside down head and shoulders on the RSI. First thing to jump down on me, and the higher high, higher low pattern. If we can't get another bounce, that'd be nice for Solana to pump back up to 65. Right? But is it low price just for like the lowest price ever? No, that's why it's more about can we hold the higher low here, right here at 48, and then bounce up to 60 on Solana. If not, I mean, it's going to retest obviously 43 and below. Just watch out for that. Cardano, it's very similar. That's why I don't have to look at everything. I don't have to say everything. It's the same analysis. Is if we can hold the higher high, 66, 67 cents would be our target Cardano. If it falls back down, 40 cents. Very simple. It's just when it's in the middle like this, it could go either way on a daily, right? So our 4 hour and our 1 hour, our day traders need to make, they need to spark the move. XRP, this consolidation right here on the 4 hour. Symmetrical triangles everywhere. Symmetrical triangles everywhere. It's the same pattern over and over and over again. Right? This is bigger though. This is 10 to 20%. So, okay, 10% would take us to 46. 20% would be 50 cents, this upper target. So we just mark these. 10% downside would be 37. 20% downside would be 33. With a 0.88. We actually touched that, right? So this Fibonacci, this was the target right here, 0.88, and you get real low. Then you have a double bond. Then that bounce happens, right? When you're in the middle neutral zone, anything's possible. Anything's possible. But on the weekly, it would be interesting to see, okay, did we just establish the weekly lower low on the price right here? The weekly lower low, right, before we establish the bounce, right? Because dip buyers already bought this on the day trade crash. Okay, so hopefully those targets make sense to you. So again, it is building here, the bullish momentum. It's building. It's just we need to see a break and a hold above these price levels. I'm staring at this chart right here in terms of, okay, where's a similar pattern happen right here? Okay, it did get continuation for a week, and there's 25%. It also happened here. on the charts. Okay, so what was that move? 37%. So it looks like a 20-25% if XRP is really going to go up. So okay, if that's the general idea, 10% to the downside for a larger investment in terms of profit loss with small amount of capital if somebody's not sure, right? That's the play. Let's end here looking at Dogecoin. Let me just see. Let me check AVAX. Very similar pattern, very similar pattern. Can we establish support and bounce and hold above that and not go lower? So Dogecoin hit our lower target here of the 0.077 cents. Now Dogecoin, just flipping through these. Yeah, Binance already was our lead bull. Binance coin. Dogecoin trying to hold here above. I think it's the 0.88. Yep. So right here, we hit this 0.88. And also this crypto has been crashed for a long time on this weekly, right? Low, high, low right here. So it hit our target of 8 cents. And we're going to see if we get this bounce going on in the next month or two, if it's going to happen. So what's the risk reward on this one? I'm going to include the wick because it's Dogecoin. This doesn't take long for this thing to move. So there have been 50% bounces. It takes about a month. So, okay. The 40%, 50% bounce definitely could happen over the next 30 days. It's just this thing needs to stop crashing. If it keeps going down, this is canceled. This canceled. And you wait for another low on the charts. It's relatively low on the week, on the daily. But again, our medium-term trading, our swing trading, it hasn't crashed yet. So either I'm waiting for a pullback or I'm just going to put it in and let the capital move around, right? Just let the volatility move around. But sometimes with crypto, things can get really crazy to the downside. So, that's why for me in crypto, I never go all in at one time. SHIB, similar. We had this death cross on May 1st, but we finally hit the oversold level. A little bit of bullish momentum on the daily, at least. The weekly is not oversold. The 4-hour and 1-hour is still in this neutral to the upper zone of the RSI. The price is still it's still consolidating. We are holding above here, 1115, because SHIB crashed down to 900s, right? Very interesting. So now 1000 basically, 0.000, 1000 is our support. Now we have the symmetrical triangle. It's happening everywhere. So symmetrical meaning it can go up, it can go down. So it's going to take the price and the buyers, to prove it. Breakout, people need to buy. If it's going to break down, bears are going to short and sell and crush. Right? So what's the risk reward on this one, including this wick? It's pretty excessive. A safe one would be like right here, like a 10%, 5, 10%. 5 might be too close because 20% looks like the next target. The next Fibonacci up here, 0.88. The reversion is 20% up here. So that's what it would be like. But again, on the moment of the stream, it's not the lowest price on the chart. It was back here on May 12th. I was not streaming at midnight on that day, my time, right? That was the low spot, and then people are holding there, right? You can imagine if somebody did it correctly out there, they bought this, right? Oh, and they're up right now 20%, and they're saying, well, they probably moved their stop up to, where my stop is right now. I mean, to where this stop is over here, right? So you just want to watch out for that. Okay. So just to make it very, very clear, anybody who's new here or just who's interested, is we're in the downtrend here, but this consolidation, if this holds, that'll be good. And can we see to get a trend change? Or at least a little pump rally, and then people could take their profit, the traders. Investing though, it's very low price, but it's not the lowest price of all time. Because in a real crypto crash, you could see that a real crypto crash, like if you study 2018, a lot of assets went back down to their original level or lower. So it's definitely possible. It's not impossible. It's just the swing traders and day traders trying to play this bounce on SHIB. All right, now I'm just going to flip through the rest really fast to see if anything pops out in like a 4-hour, 1-hour. And then we're going to close out the stream. All right, so same thing with Matic, very similar pattern, except it's not very low price. Near's a little different. Did hit this support level here right above 569. So if he can hold above there, that'd be good to try to hit the 618 target of $8 above again. Atom is already starting to a little bit uptrend on this 4 hour. I'm going to see if to get continuation on that or not. Good little double bottom here. So the target for Atom is still $14 to the upside. Litecoin. It is difficult sometimes to just make a decision only off the daily chart. So sometimes, you just got to let the market equilibrium do its thing first and see where the clear break is before making a decision sometimes. But resistance 76 and 85 to the upside. Downside risk 66, 61. Again, it's not that low price, but the only question is, are we going to get continuation, yes or no, on the majors, cryptos? Chainlink trying to hold the higher low. TRON is different. TRON is such a tradable coin. A lot of bots on TRON, algorithm traders. But we have the support. This blue line held the support, bounced off of it. So if we're gonna really bounce up on TRON, I would like to, even though it's kind of already in the overbought range, I'm talking long term, is can it hold this 7 cents as a pivot point and go up back up to 8 all the way? It may or may not. It already had its run a little bit on the day trading side. The 1 hour is up cross, so that's good. It's just we need to see a pullback down before it's going to go up again. That's what I'm saying. Watch out for that. One potential scenario. Bitcoin Cash. There is a little bit of accumulation going on down here, right? So watch out for that as a bull. Keep in mind, I'm using the US crypto Binance USA watch list. Ethereum Classic. It's interesting. So now we have a real trend line drawn with the double bottom here, W, that the upside target for Ethereum Classic would probably be somewhere in the $25 range. Okay, and the stop loss is bugged. But it would be probably a 10% stop loss to the bottom side for investment. Example, it's below the close, but be careful. Sometimes the bots and algorithms will stop us out. They know people are going to buy here, put a stop loss right here. So all they do is sell here, and then they bounce it up. So might have to try it twice if it doesn't work, or multiple orders. Algo trying to hold the support above 41 cents. Stellar with the double bottom here on this 4 hour. So Stellar is showing signs that, okay, if we could try to hold this support level of 1257, this would be nice to end up at 15, right? 5% target. So, but it's back testing that support right now. So 5% additional or 10% would be 15 cents approximately. And then the stop loss right at 1267. But it's not low, so it could pull back before it does what I was showing on the chart. Right, our day trading, yes, it crashed down, but our swing trading is actually at 1 hour is actually relatively high. So unless this thing is just going to stair step up, it needs to pull back down a little bit, maybe even here before it does that. Right, that's the trick. Is everyone might buy here, like a beginner trader might just like FOMO in and buy here, but then it might pull back, they make it stopped out, and then quit the market. Is you might have to try multiple small orders, right? If you're trying to do a swing trade for educational purposes. VeChain. Can the higher low hold? That's the question. Higher low hold up to 4 cents. Up to 3 cents or 4 cents, 5 cents or 6 cents or etc. Right? Can it hold? Because on the weekly, I already see the downtrend, excuse me. I already see the downtrend, right? Low, high, low. So are we going to bounce? We just bounced up the 1272 on this particular chart on this old Fibonacci. Is it all right? Okay. Can we bounce up to 4482? That would be nice on VeChain. Just watch out for any medium-term pullbacks before we actually go up again. Right? Why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? Because right here, sometimes you can have that bounce. But did this bounce go to the moon? No. It's in a downtrend environment still. So I'm talking about bounces, and then you might get a pullback down. Bounce, pullback down. Big bounce, then big pullback down. So if we get a bounce, it might bounce up here and then pull back down. It could just definitely happen. I have to be prepared for that in my mind. The only thing that's going to change my mind about that is if we bounce and then never go back down, then that's different. That is different. That's a bull market trend change. So I'm watching for that. All right, let's just finish up here, and I'll do GMT, and then probably just finish up. We went past the hour. Filecoin trying to hold support 733. I might actually just end up passing by GMT here on the way down. H bar holding, but this is why sometimes with the bears they know just short down. Right, so you just want to watch out for that. It's just right under that resistance. It needs to break above the resistance for me to get excited. Right, if it doesn't, then it's going to fade down more often than not. Waves, oh, nice little bullish momentum on waves. I know waves got really oversold. It's almost 90% off. That's why it's starting to look attractive prices. 80%, 90% off discount. It might happen after the earnings and stock market's over, after the volatility is over, right? And there's a less global catalyst that can shake the market. People are going to come back to crypto. It happens every time. Every time it happens, right? But beware, waves, right? It has done this negative 80% before, but it was cheaper back then. It just depends on when you started. Right, because I know waves used to be super cheap 3 years ago, 50 cents cheap, and then it went 10,000%. Beautiful trade, a beautiful opportunity, right? But very few people did that perfectly from top to bottom. But what I'm saying is, it's from here the relative past high is down negative 88%. Okay, if it's gonna, where's it gonna stop? And then reverse on waves. That's the big question. All right, so resistance above 732 and 869. Support if it keeps going down, 526, 448, 346, etc., etc. So I'm going to say again, EGLD, we're going to see if it holds that support level. Phantom, right here. Well, this was a particular example. This actually might have got stopped out if this was on the left side here, but if anybody caught on the right side, they're actually in the profit right now. But Phantom, we drew this trend line. It was here for a long time. See that? That's why the TA, this trend line was here for 1.5 years, and then we finally touched it. That's why TA works. That's why we have a double bottom W bounce here. Okay, so even though this is not the perfect spot, it's still an interesting trade, right? If this thing is really going up back to 76, that's 60% to the upside, and then it has to be a 30% to the downside. This is a very small capital trade. But if it's trying to trend change right off here, it could retest one more time before trying to go up again for bull case scenario. If not, it's going to break down, retest here, and then go down, and then I would buy somewhere down here. AXS with the bounce. Here's an example. This is why sometimes trying to catch the bounce doesn't work. I need to see trend change, which I do see evidence of here. We had that double bottom, and I'm going to see if there's going to be continuation on AXS or not. Like that. It's the measure move, 25% to the upside. Okay, where is that? 27.42. If this is the entry point right here, what is going on here? It would be something like this, something like that. Okay, but again, there's a little shooting star here. It's not that great, so it could fold down. So that's one particular order buy. There's another one down here that stack the orders, and there's 4 potential orders for entry. XTC already with the double bottom. See, this is, I remember saying it last stream, XTC looks suspicious. I drew it right here, 167. Right? This is double bottom. Okay, this is the one. And now this is looking more interesting on the daily. Now the question is are we going to get continuation for the second move? We hit the first target, right? of the top of the W. Now are we going to get the extension? This right here, the 2181, right there. Okay, so it's just kind of high. It's buying the middle of the pattern, but you know, 5% stop loss not out of the question. If this buy order fails, then another buy order here or buy order down here. I'll probably do that. ApeCoin. Okay, ApeCoin, the upside down head and shoulders failed. So let me do this one over. This is a very popular coin. The only good thing I'm going to say about ApeCoin right now is it's holding above the 0.88, which is just about 785. So ApeCoin had a massive crash with the rebound, okay? But now the question is, can it hold above this blue circle zone here, or especially right above the 771, 776? Can it hold there to try to attempt to trend change? Or if not, it's fading down technically, right? So if it's gonna, it might have a little small bounce, but watch out for another crash if it happens. If you have a trend change, that would be nice. If it's double bottom trend change, that would be good on ApeCoin. Okay, AVE. We bounced up, but it's touching resistance. So now I'm curious, is that we're going to pull back or not? All right, so it's the resistance 96, support 88. H&T with a little bit of double bottom action. See if we can get that bounce. Hasn't bounced yet. EOS with double bottom, holding here on the price above 1272 on the price. If we get a nice bounce here, the measure move is about 10% up. So an EOS would be a nice 150 or 148 target. 5% would be like 127, but it could easily get stopped out. The stop loss is kind of tight on that one, so watch out. Zcash already had the rally. So Zcash looks like ApeCoin, this pattern. So whoever's trading ApeCoin is also probably looking at Zcash. Looks almost the same. Analysis is very similar. IOTA trying to hold this higher low above here on 32 cents. Would be nice to get the target to 40 cents up here or higher at like a 45. Okay. Maker already had the bounce. GRT. Okay. GRT trying to hold here. So support at 1490, 1327, 1200. Trying to see if we could bounce up one more time to the top here. It's 20%, right? So there's still that 2-to-1 possibility, but it's kind of early. And again, we're not super oversold. So the chances are of where I draw the box, just for example today, might not be the perfect spot to buy, right? Because me coming on the stream and then randomly coming across on the exact same Sunday or Monday, the perfect buy zone, it doesn't happen all the time. That's why you got to pre-plan it. So if it crashes down, it might want to buy more down here. Somewhere down here like 1181 or somewhere down here for a trade, right? But if it starts breaking out, then just buy it and put a stop loss under it and small amount of capital and let it run. All right. Can't do all of these, but they're very similar. I'm trying to find GMT if it's on my list or not. I could type it to you, but let's just get a visual. It's good to just compare. YFI didn't bounce yet. This is kind of interesting. YFI is fading down below. If we broke down below the 10,000. But Wi-Fi is, I mean, I know it's a lower volume coin, very low volume, but it hasn't bounced yet. So this one might be one of the laggards here. It's very small amount of capital, is volatile coin, but still, if this thing happens to bounce like 20%, and then this one is actually a better risk to reward because it crashed down so much. It hasn't crashed down to the start of 6,000, but it's crashed down very significantly from the high when we were talking about it in the 40,000 range. So Wi-Fi looking kind of interesting on the daily. Udem. OMG with a double bottom. At least there was one right here. So interesting to see if that's going to be our pivot point for the bounce up or not. KNC already with the bounce. So KNC and Binance Coin were our two lead bulls on this USA English, the USA watch list. Poly as well. And then some of these are smaller, what I consider like less liquid coins. Wow, Augur. Very nice move on Augur. That's what I'm saying is this is a perfect example of the bullish pattern that I'm talking about could happen on every single altcoin that's popular. Is you have the symmetrical triangle and then you just look for the breakout. You look for the breakout. Or instead of looking, if you want to do something better, you set the alert horizontal. That's what probably somebody should be doing is put the alert on top of here, and if once it breaks out, put a buy order there or just an alert so you know what's going on. And the target just hit our support levels on the left side. Very nice trade on Augur, but it looks like it's going to fade down, so I wouldn't touch that anymore. But you see all the rest of these, they didn't do that yet. So it's a matter of just finding that one. Okay, let me go to GMT. Here's the Binance one. GMT, okay. So GMT was our ICO, right? In March, ICO, new coin listing. And where it is right now, it was uptrending. So actually, let me erase this again. Just going by trend, this is a perfect example. It was uptrending, and I was saying, watch out for the break of these lower support levels on the way down, and then it broke down. So where did it break down to? 618 or just below. This kind of reminds me of Binance Coin, actually, and Bitcoin itself. So the thing is, it's under the 618, and if we do trend lines, it's still under the trend line, so it's not bullish yet. It's in a daily downtrend right now. The problem is it tried to make its lower high bounce. This is a very weak lower high bounce. That was weak, right? It needs a real crypto bounce would have been really higher, and then a pullback down, right? It's because the whole market crashed. That's why there's so much bearish momentum for this thing to go down. But once the selling stops, it would be interesting to see if GMT could pop or not. But you have to understand that what side are we on? It was uptrending, now it's downtrending. So as a bull, trying to time the bottom is going to be difficult, right? On this side, it's a little easier. Maybe just buy a dip. It's harder because you don't see this part and you just see like this on the white. As well, you have to play a breakout. It's more dangerous, but it's there. But since this is a downtrend, well, where's the bottom is the question now. On here is where's the top, and then you just put a stop loss. Here is where's the bottom with a stop loss. You know what I mean? And if I'm wrong too many times, if I try to fire 50 times here, that's losing too much capital. That's why I haven't touched some of these cryptos for a year or 6 months. I sold a long time ago, right? Not on this coin, but I'm saying I sold all my coins on the way up, not on the way down. So where's the immediate support? Immediate support 132, 116, 95, like $1 support. Okay. Keep in mind that an extreme bear scenario, it could all go down to 50 cents or all the way back down to 10 cents. So just keep in mind, that's just the worst case scenario possible is going back down to nothing. Worst case scenario is bankrupt company. Bad case scenario that's really bad is just goes back down to where we started and is neutral. Realistic scenario, it's going to bounce on the way down. Best case scenario for all cryptos is this is the bottom we're looking at right now, and then we bounce up from here nonstop, back up to all-time highs or back up to previous support level. That'd be the best case scenario right now. But it is on the downtrend. So what I've been saying for the past 30 minutes applies to GMT too, is can we hold the support on 133 and 115 or $1 at least? And then try to rally to the targets. Where? 160, 180, 2. Those are the targets. You're playing between these two ranges, basically. And it's just about the capital, small amount of capital, risk to reward. So right now, if it's 20% the upside, then the downside has to be 10% with a small amount of capital. And if it fails, then that's crypto trading, as an example. That's the risk of crypto. Now, the same logic applies over here. It was harder, but the conditions back in April 2022 or for this particular coin was different, right? I remember I called on GMT, there's this ascending triangle pattern, and then it went higher, right? I remember calling that. Let me see if I can find it again on the hour. Pretty sure I think it was this one. Somebody asked me for it right here, and I was saying, watch out for this ascending triangle pattern. And what was the measure move? 50%, and then it went hundreds of percent. It went 200%. It went quadruple the target, right? So this is kind of that setup where if it's ascending triangle, it's like, well, that's supposed to go up, and then it goes up, right? Once somebody knows what the breakout pattern is. But what's going on right here? It's actually a descending triangle. on the hourly, if I'm honest with myself, this is more like a descending triangle or just symmetrical triangle, depending on how tight I do it. It could be more of a symmetrical. Right? It was almost descending. It was if we include the wicks down here, but if I include the close, it turns into a symmetrical. So, but you know, this is not pointing completely up, so that's why I have to see the break of right here, 150. So I would set an alert right here. Example for everybody: if you have a pro account, a premium account, if you're free, I think you could set one alert, but you want to set one like at a reasonable level. So I'm gonna Alt A. Every time at what price? $1.50. GMT UST breakout above $1.50. 1 hour chart potential bullish breakout, and then I'm gonna click every time, create the alert, save it, and now it's right here. So whenever this thing is gonna pop, I will know. Okay, I'm also going to create a alert on the downside. This is how you get ahead of the market at like $1.30. If it breaks below $1.30, that is bad. That would be a bearish breakdown. So $1.30, GMT, bearish breakdown, potential short setup for our futures traders out there, right? And you're just playing between these two levels right now. It's basically that. This one's actually a little tighter. It's like 145, but you get what I'm saying. You just set your two levels and watch for the break, because that's what like experienced price technical analysis are looking for. Is this thing has to move. It's a matter of when. It's not if, because it is going to move. It's not going to stay here probably forever, like just like in a little tight range like that. This thing's going to move depending on the market. So if the entire stock market, global assets are going to crash, it's going to go down. But it probably, there's a higher chance it's going to go down. But if we hit our bottom, earnings are good, stocks are good, everything starts rallying again, then all Bitcoin and altcoins will probably rally as well. All right. So that's the analysis on some of these altcoins. Okay, I went 30 minutes over today, but just going to close out the stream now. So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and follow me on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and I have a Discord group as well. And again, just a heads up announcement that there are fake accounts and scammers out there online trying to scam people through direct message on all these social media platforms. So if you see a suspicious message from somebody trying to sell you some kind of fake product or service, or ask for crypto payments, just report, block them, and ignore them, and just move on. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate everything. Hope you have a nice trading week, and I'll see you next weekend for the next stream. Thank you. Bye-bye.